On a freezing January night in 1959, 9 skilled hikers set up camp on the slopes of Russia's Ural Mountains. They were students, strong, experienced, prepared for the brutal cold. But by morning, they would all be dead. And the way they died makes no sense at all. This is the Dyatlov Pass incident, one of the most baffling mysteries in history. The group, led by Igor Dyatlov, was trekking through the snowy wilderness when something went horribly wrong. Search teams later found their tent ripped open from the inside. Footprints showed the hikers had fled in panic, some barefoot, others wearing only socks, despite temperatures of 30 degrees Celsius, 22 degrees Fahrenheit. The first 2 bodies were found near a dying campfire, dressed in scraps of clothing torn from the others. 3 more were discovered closer to the tent, as if they'd tried to return but collapsed. The remaining 4 weren't found until months later, and their injuries were horrifying. 1 hiker had a fractured skull. 2 had massive chest trauma, broken ribs with no external wounds, as if crushed by an invisible force. Another was missing her tongue. And strangest of all, some of their clothes showed traces of radioactivity. The Soviet government quickly closed the case, blaming an unknown compelling force. But the questions never stopped. What made 9 rational people slash their way out of a tent and run into certain death? Why were some of their injuries similar to a car crash, yet there were no vehicles for miles? And why were there reports of glowing orange spheres in the sky that night? Over the years, theories have ranged from the plausible to the paranormal. Some say it was an avalanche, but the tent was still standing, and footprints remained undisturbed. Others believe secret military tests went wrong, possibly involving experimental weapons or radiation. Then there are the darker suggestions: infrasound-induced panic, a yeti attack, or even an alien encounter. Decades later, Russian investigators reopened the case, only to conclude it was an avalanche after all. But survivors of avalanches don't rip their tents open from the inside. They don't leave footprints walking calmly away. And they certainly don't end up with missing tongues and radioactive clothes. The truth? We may never know. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains a terrifying enigma, a warning that sometimes, the wilderness isn't the deadliest thing out there. Something in those mountains forced 9 people to run to their deaths. And whatever it was, it's still out there. What do you think happened? Government cover-up? A creature science can't explain? Or something even worse? Let us know in the comments, and if you dare, share this story with someone who loves a good mystery. Just don't go camping alone after dark.